Do you think Agile is an opportunity to resurrect marketing and into to what it's supposed to be, or elevate it back to?
I love your question, Nick. It reminds me of the Mark Ritson article, which is basically reminded me that I was merely doing one of the P's of marketing. But yeah, I think it's kind of what's been said. Like, there was an interesting conversation internally about why do we need Agile to do what is basically common sense, like which was of course, like of course you need end-to-end alignment, and that was the structure before. We had lean as a methodology, but there wasn't um, a gap that suddenly Agile was going to fulfill a need that newly identified. But I think what was, as discussed, by looking at the sort of structure of a squad team to be able to go from the upstream to the downstream practices of marketing, absolutely, it's a format, a way that people can understand to collaborate in a way that may not always have been easy. And frankly, one of the hardest things on that is the resourcing, and it's actually one of the challenges we have at the moment. Because actually, what I'm fascinated by is Chloe's answer more than my own, to be honest with you, because they've gone full kilt into this, right? So if I understand it rightly, you really ripped the plaster off and restructured and removed hierarchy layers. Where the complexity comes from is really where you still have functions or disciplines, but then you have the need for people to collaborate in a layer above or aside or on top of. And that needs very, very careful organization, because things need to be resourced for squads and end-to-end squads, as well as for functional expertise. Yeah. And that's where we are in the journey a little bit, is balancing that, because not that both can't happen or coexist, I think they can. It's just a case of, if one gets out of whack, or everything ends up being a squad, or everything ends up being a function, the other suffers. So I think in our journey, where we are sort of feathering the approach a little bit more in terms of structure, the resourcing of that end-to-end team and the 5 Ps needs a little bit more just operational thought. And I think Chloe's sounds like a sort of 2 steps ahead maybe on some of that stuff at Direct Line.